into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. And first of all, congratulations on the win. And I just want to hear from you. What did you feel like was the most important part of this win? Because while we know they may count the same on the schedule at the end of the year, certain wins can mean a different thing to the team at the time.
Yeah, it was exactly what we needed. We got off to a great fast start. The crowd got into it big time. Defensively, I thought we played lights out the whole ball game, and other than a couple plays here and there, I thought it was one of our best games of the year.
And Mike Evans, amazing night for him. He scored a touchdown in every single Monday night football game he's ever played, and we should lobby for more of those.
For sure.
But he now got another one that was incredibly significant, breaking Mike Allstott's record. So for you, hearing that, remembering Mike Allstott and then what it means to have a receiver do it and just what it says about Mike Evans.
Yeah, dependability and excellence. You have to be available all the time to score that many touchdowns. So Mike's always there, and he's a great, great player. For a receiver to break a running back's record, especially the guy who's always got the ball on the goal line like the A-Train did, that says a lot. I mean, that's a huge record to break.
Well, I saw him also get his first career carry, and I was wondering if maybe this was you just making sure you were going to try to get him that record, in case the wide receiver part wasn't working. But tell me there was just some uniqueness here. We had a couple back-to-back receiver runs. It felt like overall the game plan had some fun, creative aspects to it in the game. Tell us what some of the thought process was.
Yeah,
there.
I thought Byron had a good plan, just keep him off balance, especially early in this ball game. We've never run that play with Mike. It's always been AB or Jalen, and looked good in practice. Heck, why not? Let's roll with it. The one to Chris, we've run a bunch of times, but again, it's been other players sometimes. But Chris is such a great player with the ball in his hands. Just get it to him any way you can.
Yeah, and you mentioned scoring that touchdown on the opening drive. I mean, 73 yards in less than 4 minutes, never got to third down. Brady, and that drive plus a few others, completed his first 10 passes of the game. 6 different players touching the ball in the first 6 plays. What was the thing that, for you, caused that first drive to be so successful? What was the shift from the last week where things got off to a bit of a slower start?
Yeah, we did a bunch of no huddle in this ball game. We've been practicing for a couple of weeks, and even though it was a cool crowd, what temperature-wise for Floridians is still hot for New Yorkers,
yeah,
and
right.
Tried to gas them out as soon as we could to get that pass rush slowed down.
And Godwin ended up with a touchdown on that drive, 65 yards for him. What did you see from his performance, that touchdown, and out of him?
I think he got targeted 6 times, had 6 catches. That's Chris.
Yeah.
The ball's not going to hit the ground very often when you throw it to him, and just such an explosive player, inside and outside.
I know that there was the one interception that bounced off of Mike. What did you see from that play? And I'm sure not something that you're expecting out of Mike.
Yeah, it was a running play, and that's one of our bailouts, and there's a little miscommunication between Tyler and Mike, who was getting that ball. We had thrown it earlier to Chris, and Tyler should have gone to go block. He kind of threw his hand up and I think blinded Mike. And they have to be thrown hard out there because we were trying to get 5 or 6 yards like an outside running play, and it just bounced off. And you never throw that pass thinking of an interception ever.
Right, yeah. And I know that we've talked so much about injuries so far this season, and thankfully one of the areas that had not been affected, offensive line, and we saw Allie go down with an injury. First of all, do you have much of an update on him and what we think the prognosis of that could be?
It's an oblique injury, so it's just going to be a matter of how sore he is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and hopefully we'll have him for the game, but we don't know. But Aaron Stinney, we got a ton of confidence in. He'll go out and play a heck of a game. And
what did you see from Stinney stepping in for him mid-game?
Did a heck of a job, and just like he did last year when Alex got hurt. And so, yeah, we always, whether it's Josh Wells, whoever it is, whoever the next man up is, they're ready to go.
And overall, the offensive line performance I know Brady didn't get sacked. What did you see from their performance both in the pass and run game?
I thought it was fantastic. The one holding penalty on Tristan was kind of iffy, but that negated a huge player. That would have been another touchdown right before half.
Well, and speaking of penalties, it's something I know has been such a focus for you guys on the team, and not just penalties, but overall the intelligence of playing the game and the mental errors and all that. How did you feel like that was overall with this game? Because you've said it's not all penalties that are going to be the thing that bother you so much. So between the penalties and mental errors at large, how did you feel this game?
Oh, this is one of the cleanest games we've had. We had a couple of penalties that negated some big plays, but Tristan's hold and a substitution thing that shouldn't have happened. But other than that, I think mental error-wise, we were really low. Energy was great, and I thought our execution was outstanding.
Is there any way to tell what helped cause that, when I know that you had talked about so many of these things coming out of the bye week and then they still weren't where you wanted in the Washington football game? So, and then you talked about even the practices had been so great, but then it didn't show up on Sunday. Now, to have had it show up in the game and be what you guys have been harping on, could you tell what helped with that shift to be able to keep doing it?
Being at home. That helps a bunch. When everybody can hear, especially when we're running no huddle offensively, and you can all communicate and hear. And defensively, we've done a good job of playing well with crowd noise and feeding off that energy and doing the hand signals and things that you can't hear each other, but you can know the body language and everybody's communicating well. And we got to take that on the road.
And speaking of knowing how to communicate well, Brady and Gronk, they got a good thing going there. And what did you see from having Gronk back now, what it means to Brady, what it means to the offense at large, and just how he can change the entire flow of the offense?
Well, that's a big target and a heck of a player, but when things aren't quite synced perfectly, I was like, where's Gronk? Yeah. And there he comes running across big target over the middle, and there's 37-yard pass. So Tom has great confidence in Rob, and Rob's a hell of a player.
And what was the process of him coming back in terms of with this injury, how you decided when he was going to be ready and how much you wanted to use him in that point?
Yeah, he looked really good in practice this week. He had no setbacks, and it was like, let's keep him around 30. He ended up playing 40 plays, but it was a good stretch for him. He got gassed once or twice, but I thought Rick Christopher did a great job substituting those tight ends.
And with him being in there, as we saw the very opening play, OJ gets a 10-yard catch, when you're opening in this 2 tight end set, even the plays that Gronk doesn't end up being involved in, how do you see it affect what the other guys are able to do?
Yeah, Gronk took double coverage. They both ran with him on the corner route. OJ's wide open in the flat, easy throw and catch for a first down.
And take us through Rojo's touchdown right after one of Gronk's big catches.
Yeah, great job by Alex Cappa. We double teamed, crushed the edge down, Cap pulled out and got a good block, and Rojo used his speed, just took it to the corner.
I know that big 35-yarder by Gronk felt like it was a pretty big momentum shift. Did it feel like that was one of maybe the most defining plays of the game in terms of where we were at?
Definitely. I think that was like, we had some momentum. It was kind of lulled a little bit, and boom, there it was, and we go down and score. That, to me, that was the icing on the cake.
All right, well, we still have more coming up here with head coach Bruce Arians. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians, and John Lynch got honored at halftime for his Hall of Fame ring, and had a couple of the other pretty big name guys in the Buccaneers franchise out there with him. And I know you were busy at halftime, didn't get to see the whole honoring, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on getting to be a part of this franchise while he's getting honored and what you remember about him as a player.
Oh gosh, playing against him so many times, and great player. I mean, he symbolizes what the NFL stands for, in my opinion. Just played hard, smart, great football player, but even better person.
And then I know in this game we had Brashad Perriman ended up with a few catches, and I wanted to hear what you've thought of him coming back and picking up the offense again after a pretty short turnaround of when he signed with the team to being asked to go in and make some plays. I know they also missed that one hopeful touchdown to him, but just so overall his performance, that play, and some of the other catches that
the touchdown would have put it over the top because it was a really good performance. But he can make that play. He knows he can, and he wants that one back. And so we'll just keep putting him out there and see what happens. But BP's a heck of a football player, and we're really glad to have him back.
What are some of the specific skills he brings that made him a guy that when there were some other injuries, you thought, yeah, this is a guy that could really help us?
Well, he's big, but he's really fast, and that's a great combination. But he'll block, and he's a good route runner over the middle. And the way he finished that last year with us with 3 100-yard games, he's always stood out in my mind as a complete football player.
And I know that we talked about the creative things that you guys did on offense, and now I feel like you're going to have to call runs for Brady now, right? He's going to turn into the primary back, right?
Not so fast.
Not so fast. I wanted to hear what you noticed on that play and watching 44-year-old Brady run and then even kind of high step out of the tackle there.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a hurdle.
Yeah.
But he saw it open, and it was man-to-man coverage, split safety. So he's like, heck, I got it. And did a heck of a job pulling through that tackle. And then I would have liked to see him get down a little sooner. And
we've activated Scotty Miller from IR. And I want to hear what you are hoping for from him, and the process of bringing him back, what that could mean to the offense. And now you have brought in Brashad Perriman, and still not quite sure on AB status, what you're hoping that Scotty Miller could bring.
Well, just like he always has, deep threat, guy that can come in and make plays for us, and see if we can get him active. And but we know down the stretch there's going to be some more injuries, and so we definitely want to get Scotty up and ready to roll.
What did you think was the maybe most important thing that you saw from the offensive side of the ball in this game that you had been wanting to see, or that the significance of what you want to keep repeating moving forward?
Making first downs on first and second down, not getting into a bunch of third downs. I thought that first drive was perfect, and well, but you did. We were close to 50% on third down. Could have done a little bit better job in the red zone, but I just like the consistency of which way we move the football.
And how about Fournette? What did you think? We talked about Rojo's touchdown. What did you see from Leonard's game?
It was very solid. He had a good game, pass protection wise, run the football wise. Really good job in the screen game. Had the one big one called back, but that's been Lenny now for about 4 or 5 weeks.
All right. Well, we have more coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the head coach Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here, and I know that with the Washington football game, talked a lot about the inability to get off the field on defense on third down, and then now Giants were 1 of 9 on third down efficiency. That's got to be music to your ears.
Oh, no doubt, and 2 of 3 on fourth down. So those were huge stops, and getting off the field defensively. I mean, we take pride in that, and I think our guys were a little bit embarrassed from that drive against Washington, and they answered the bell, and hopefully we'll continue that way this week in Indianapolis.
Yeah, outside of just them taking pride in it and that aspect, was there anything tangible that you saw as to what the big difference was in their ability to get off the field?
Well, having Sean back, we were able to play a little bit more man-to-man and mix the coverages up. And I thought our disguises were outstanding, but Todd had a great game plan, and we got good pressure, continuous pressure on the quarterback all night.
And when you're hearing that Saquon Barkley is going to be playing and Vita Vea is not, that doesn't always sound like the greatest combination of factors there, but held Barkley to 25 yards rushing, and just wanted to hear overall the run defense and what you guys were able to do against him.
Yeah, everybody always forgets about Nacho and Raheem.
Except for people here who can hear him, right?
Exactly, and he's been great for us run stopping. Will Golston, Steve McClendon went in and had a heck of a ball game, so they picked it up for Vita, and hopefully we'll have Vita back this week.
Okay, yeah, we got to talk about the McClendon interception. This is great. This is a play that'll go down in Buccaneer history here, that he is now the, I believe, oldest defensive player in the league maybe, and the second oldest player ever to get their first interception of their career. I love those stats. What did you think when you saw that play? First of all, what gave him that interception, and then what went through your mind?
Yeah, great film study. He read the play, dropped back and into that throwing lane. It was a sprint out to the right and throw it back to the tight end. We called it a no-shit screen, but Steve read it perfectly and it hit him right in the stomach, and he held on to it. And we got to work on his run after the catch now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for the next one that'll be coming soon, I'm sure. So tell us about the process with Vita. I know he did kind of go out and was maybe warming up a little bit before the game. I mean, to go from where he was getting carted off the field last week to him even remotely being out there doing anything is great. But what was the process like of when you guys knew he wasn't going to be going?
Really was the warm-up. He looked good, but there wasn't the confidence that we needed to see in him. He didn't practice all week. We knew the other 2 guys would step up in this ball game, and there was no sense putting him out there and tweaking it anyway, because we're going to need him down the stretch.
And you mentioned what Sean Murphy-Bunting coming back meant in terms of some of the different things you could do on defense with him back. Tell me just overall about his performance in the game and what you had hoped he would bring after. I mean, he's missed a lot of time. Mm-hmm. So how did he perform compared to maybe what you even would have hoped for or expected after that?
Way better than I even anticipated. He punched the ball out with that arm, created a fumble right before half. I think that gave him a ton of confidence, but he played with great confidence all night. And he had 2 good, really good weeks of practice, but I wasn't hoping 58 plays. I was watching him early, and it's like, he's fine. Let him go.
Yeah, he's got the freshest legs of anybody on the team, And Devin, another huge game from him after we had talked about the idea of the big splash plays. Tell us about his performance and what impressed you the most.
Oh, just sideline to sideline again. doing a great job on the read option and just playing good pass defense. And rushing the passer, he's outstanding at, we know that. But I would have liked to see, he tipped that ball and caused the interception. I thought he was going to one-hand that thing and take it to the house. So he's probably wanting that one back.
Well, and of course it went to Mike Edwards. Of
course
it did. Is that what you end up saying on the sideline when you see this?
It's Mike's ball.
Yeah, that's it. Nobody else gets it's his. He lets everybody play with it for a little while, but then that's got to go. I mean, can you at this point say, it obviously seems like it can't be coincidence at this point?
No, it's not.
What is he doing that is putting him in that position that even when other guys are like Devin are trying to get it for themselves?
Yeah, ever since Mike's been here, he's been a ball hawk. I mean, anything that's tipped, batted, he catches it and he's gone, and so keep it up.
Yes, yeah. 3 interceptions, which leads the team, even though he's only playing 54% of the snaps. That's really incredible. And how about your outside linebackers? I know that particularly with JPP and Shaq, you had said the last game was not their best performance. They knew that. You had made sure they knew that as well. What did you see from the two of them this last game?
Oh, really good pressure, nonstop. And then Anthony Nelson, Cam Gill come in and get sacks. That whole group, Joe Tryon played inside a bunch in this game and got his snap count up where we want to keep it up there around 30 plays a game. And as a group, I thought they just hounded Daniel Jones all night.
Yeah, and Joe Tryon, I mean, is he at this point, we've seen, you've mentioned you've played him all sorts of places. Sometimes he's split out, sometimes he's, down their hand in the dirt. And is he basically just making you guys have to find ways to put him on the field?
There's no doubt. Yeah, he's earned every single right. And Todd's getting very creative now and where we're using him, how we're using him. He does so many different things, and he's a bright, bright player.
You mentioned Anthony Nelson and Cam Gill, especially Cam Gill. This was ironically, his only other sack had been a half one in the Super Bowl. This is now his first regular season sack. With both of those guys, what have you seen out of them, and particularly Anthony now having 2 in 2 games?
Just continued growth. See it in practice every single day. Anthony using that length. His toolbox is getting a little bit better as far as his pass rush moves. And Cam Gill, he's a high effort player.
All right, well, we are going to have more coming up here with head coach Bruce Arians looking ahead to that next week's game. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Bruce Arians Show. So, all right, Colts, I got to know, is there any sentimentality for you whenever you go up against a team that gave you a shot at that head coaching role first?
Oh, yeah. I've been a Colts fan my whole life. I grew up Baltimore Colts fan, so there's always a little blue horseshoe in there. And I've got a great fondness for the Irsay family and the Indianapolis Colts. So
tell me on their offense. I mean, of course, the team overall, starting off 0-3, and then now they seem like a very different team than then. So overall with the team, what are the biggest things that you've seen that have brought them to where they are now, where they're looking like they could be a playoff contender after starting 0-3?
Yeah, their offensive line's healthy. And this may be the best offensive lines we've seen since Dallas, and maybe better. And then Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he's just a tremendous back. He can do it all. Not only is he big and fast, he can catch, he can block, he can do everything. They've got weapons outside. Carson Wentz is playing really, really good. And they're creating a lot of turnovers on defense. That's one thing we got to watch. And so with Carson Wentz, what are some of the unique challenges that he presents? Again, he's a mobile guy. He'll pull it down, he'll run with it, and he'll take chances. The one thing about him, he'll try to fit it in there because he's got a great arm, and sometimes he gives you a chance to get the ball, and we got to we get our hands on him, we got to catch him. And then how about on the defensive side of things for them? What are the biggest things to look out for? Speed. I mean, they're fast, and especially that front seven. Darius Leonard is one of the best linebackers in the game. Buckner, they got a good front and very active front, and they're not real complicated, but they're very, very good at what they do. You mentioned earlier in the show the idea of needing to do this now on the road. What do you think you've seen is the biggest difference in the home versus away? And so therefore, how do you try to, as a head coach, put some things in place to help it translate on the road? Well, the biggest thing is penalties and turnovers. Those have been the bugaboo on the road, and eliminate those, we're in every game. Then now it is Thanksgiving week. So tell me, for you, go-to Thanksgiving traditions, foods, things that you love about it, and how it's been different as a head coach in the NFL, where Thanksgiving a lot of times is a work day. Yeah, we try to always have you start at 7, get everybody out of the building by 1 so they can be with their families. And for me, it was always going out playing football and then coming back in and eating everything I could eat. But stuffing was always my favorite thing, and just eat a whole plate full of it. I love it. That's great. Well, Coach, happy Thanksgiving and good luck in this next week's game. You too. Happy Thanksgiving. All right. Well, thank you guys for being with us. We'll be back here next week with another Bruce Arians Show.